So what will we know by the end of the year which will allow us to move on to trade talks? What needs to actually be agreed by then?
Well, I think that we have to give the European Union further assurance that we're moving in the right direction. I think that the summit this week was really quite instructive in that, and I think that the tone was very different coming out of the summit, that they accept that the United Kingdom is very serious, that the Prime Minister is very sincere about wanting to come to an agreement. But of course we then have to decide what is the trading relationship that we want in Europe, which for most people around the world is the big question. So for investors, I was in Tokyo a few weeks ago, and they were saying, this is not just about our investments in the United Kingdom, it's our investments in Italy and Spain and Germany, and what access they will have to the UK market. And they're looking for as open a relationship as we have today. That is what they want to see. That, of course, is what we want to see.
And just to be clear on your current position on this, some of your colleagues from the Brexit campaign actually think that a no-deal Brexit would be better than the kind of deals they think might be on offer. What's your current position about how worried we should be about a no-deal Brexit, should it come to that?
Well, if we have no deal and we trade on current WTO terms, that's the basis that not only that Britain trades with countries like the United States, but that the EU trades with the rest of the world in most circumstances. So it's not exactly a nightmare scenario. But
you're not scared of that eventually?
I am not scared of that, but I would prefer to have a deal, because it would give greater certainty and almost certainly greater openness of trade.
The WTO rules are quite clear. Why would it give greater certainty?
Because if we've got a more liberal agreement that doesn't, for example, include tariffs, it's easier, it's more certain for UK businesses. That's what we want to see. And we've been saying to our European colleagues, at every level that we can, we are absolutely determined to get to that deal. And if you think about it, Robert, if in a normal trade agreement, you and I would be some distance apart, we would negotiate that difference down to the smallest amount possible. That's not where we are in the European Union. We're beginning from complete identity. We have no tariffs, we have complete regulatory equivalence, and therefore all that can happen is we either stay the same or we get slightly further apart for political reasons. We want us to maintain that closeness because the global economy has not been doing tremendously well, and then trade's not been doing tremendously well globally. So we can't really afford to put any impediments to trade and investment in Europe that don't exist today.
So one very brief question. We'll come back to you obviously after the break, but we've got a break coming. Your officials have done impact studies based on different scenarios. What do they say about the economic consequences of a no-deal Brexit?
That depends what you put in place in terms of mitigation, and of course we've looked at a whole range of potential options.
But there are reports that your officials say that a no-deal Brexit would be very damaging economically for the UK.
We would look, if we had no deal, to see what the costs may be and how we might mitigate them for a number of our industries who might have particular problems, for example, with tariffs, and we have a range of options that we could put in place.
Will you publish those impact studies? There's a lot of pressure on you to do that.
Well, you know, why would we publish data in a negotiation that might actually diminish our negotiating hand? We're clearly going to want to argue for a full, open, comprehensive agreement with Europe, but we'll prepare for the United Kingdom's national interest being defended if we can't get one.
But just to be absolutely clear, the position of Macron that this is just a bluff, that we're not serious about a no-deal Brexit, he's completely wrong about that.
Completely wrong about that.